After spending 7 fieldhouse, and this Fever offense has been swings. Clark on a step back.
They have size at every position over.
First time these two teams matched up, it was here with the win. That was back in May. This is Odyssey Sim. LA played well in Dallas too, and that's an
Olin Clark especially was blitzed a handful of times. And it's been
Jackson averaging 13 points per game.
Break, and you can't let Kelsey Mitchell get.
She's pulling away a big lead. Pass. Mitchell lost the handle underneath.
6
going to work on Stevens, and here is Stevens who will launch.
Most teams.
Indiana with the defense. Lexi Hull going coast.
Not enough changes for this team.
Here's Mitchell putting on the move. Hamby goes back to work, and the scoop. Clark, step back. Here is Hamby who will fire from 3.
Did all the hard stuff. And
to win Rookie of the Month and Player MVP. Here is Nalissa Smith, fire just 11th in the WNBA. Here, Cameron Brink.
Mitchell and Clark.
Awards, the coaching award.
It is New York, the top team in the league.
Back defensively as Smith gets.
But then just immediately shut it off. She went to party. There's still a lot of work to be done.
For the franchise.
No question. I said 4, maybe 3. We're in the 6th spot in the play.
Odyssey Sims finds some space. Hesitation. Clark gets inside and Hamby fighting through traffic, flips it up, shot.
I love this pistol action in transit. Some minutes in the first quarter.
She's arguing. Here is Stevens on the roll. Oh, Mitchell, hand off Boston and bounces.
She's really good in the.
Mitchell, catch and shoot, whistle there. Signal being put up.
Since the break, we're at 100. It's amazing.
Mitchell leads all scorers with 7.
Mitchell doing a really good job fronting Rakia Jamita right now. And there's
Indiana times. Here's
Legal post who can run off screen.
Backdoor pass finds Kia Nurse. The Fever turnover, so it hasn't hurt them. Jackson, nice foot comes. Boston flips her shoulder, and it's an off. Ray Burrell, who's just checked. Clark stepping back on the baseline.
To her game as well.
Burrell attacking the baseline.
It's such a low-scoring first quarter.
Shots because of that turnover.
Relax just a tad. You're playing.
Clark will launch off balance. Good fortune here if you are a fan and both playing in this building.
You can say that about the Indiana Fever.
Here in May, Clark, highest scoring game, had more than that in a season.
Time to spend on all the numbers.
The bounce, Dantas charging inside line. There's Burrell through traffic.
Players, Smith and Donji.
Mitchell is Nurse stepping back, launching, and she was here. She hit 5 threes. Smith denial, but on a set.
Fast break opportunities.
Nurse stepping back and rattle
it quickly. You got to move the ball.
9th in the WNBA, so it's a little below.
2 turnover margin, a +2.
Putting on the moves, Clark.
17 points a game.
Kelsey Mitchell as she steps into a 2. Right there with Ray Burrell and Kia Nurse.
To help Indiana.
Dantas over a double. See Sims on the drive. Draws that he put together a fine evening. 10
their average. To execute in the quarter court. And now can get you with some mismatches. Receive that pass, and that's a tough.
Still trying to get this Indiana offense kick-start.
He's on the season.
And
home of the Imps. Same place as me.
Clark, good feed into Boston. Here's Azare again. Oh, doing a shot too strong there. Got right to the rim. Knocked down the 3.
And executive of the year in this league.
Oh, feeding in.
And a play offensively.
Well, worth noting that sometimes it does. It's a 2, I guess, a couple of times. And they've got some impressive wins and hit just 3 threes.
Go to LA's practice in the W because they work.
Here's Burrell fighting inside and then a backdoor cut. It's Mitchell.
Boston does a great job of setting up Kelsey.
Burrell to switch on to Boston. Sims off the screen, driving into Samuelson. Like 5 minutes here in the first half. Just 3 total points since the minutes. We haven't seen Christy Wallace.
Coming off the bench again. Of course, Dearica Hamby, you know, she had
NBA level this year. Here is Hamby. On Samuelson, shot off the mark. There's Hamby.
On this team, number 2 pick in the draft. And Cameron, we're sending our best to you. Because she wanted to be here. And for Rakia, it's like, you're going to be an all-star.
No question, and that's what advantage on Wheeler. And Jackson.
She's an incredible athlete. For a rookie, that's impressive.
Oh, Clark.
Let's Let's see what LA does. And I might blitz the first ball screen.
Sims into hole, and on the drive, turns the corner and gets to the rim.
Pads over the thigh pads.
Now, we've seen that speed be such a break. Smith going one-on-one.
Masters out of that play.
Here's Steven. Point shooting teams in the league.
He's really worked on making sure.
Stevens will try it again.
Aaliyah Boston getting away.
He's finding some room to work down there. Not on a regular roster deal, Seals, but not a full-time gig. He's able to shovel it there to Stevens. It frees up Boston. And Boston on the gridiron.
Penalty on the officials.
Here in the second half. Amby with a crossover, driving into Smith, leads her. Clark crossing over, and traces Sims giving chase. Caitlin Clark as Jackson throws up a wild, bounces for Boston. Here is Hamby on the other end. Spit.
Somebody back. We were team on the same side. Look at Boston with 12 and 13.
Agent putting on the moves. Competition. It's always a chess match.
I think out or substitution.
Sims to switch on to Boston, driving on Boston.
Hill gets you in isolation. Look to it in Dallas.
On the drive, Clark hangs and banks it.
Stopper.
Jackson turning on left. Trying to establish lead. Gonna have to hoist from way outside. 16 points here so far tonight as Clark launching.
Mismatch for Azurá Stevens. It's a really much space to snake behind. You put a lot of
Five drops it for Smith. Or haven't been able to shake the sparks. Wheeler giving chase. Jackson, the Jets. Wheeler going coast to coast. Right there.
yeah.
And base decision for Christie Sides. Extra pass. It's Indiana back up 5, and Clark trying to answer. You bet. Break out of that here as Sims on the drive.
They like to run for Kelsey Mitchell.
Nurse weaving her way inside and
Sessions try to force some slippage.
Boston back for Clark. Flips it over to Burrell, who's open. Clark back for Samuelson, and the few here to try to nail down their 8.
Boston, who's really battling in there for
minutes here today. Dantas fading, firing.
Action's tough to guard. What a take by
driving on Burrell, hangs and can't.
Guarded by Mitchell and Clark.
And Sparks have just not gone away. They've had Boston spinning inside.
Game. Nobody in the league runs.
Clark lobbing inside. Oh, difficult pass.
Just good awareness of where she
rebounds. It's her 12th double-double.
And her ability to run the floor, play.
Beaver hit with a moving screen. Frustration there from Clark.
First 10 seconds of the shot.
Clark, step back. Hits a fuck going behind the back. Oh, it's Boards for the most ever.
Let me correct myself. It's
Will she get it off in time? Just does.
So good at creating separation to get into the.
Mitchell pulling up. Hamby rolling, runs into hole shot.
Lexi Hall does not need. Fantastic.
Being free on the CBS Sports app. Or 3-on-2. Sims taking it right up the middle. Smith with the rebound. Oh, pretty spin. Christie Sides really low. Burrell catch and shoot. Whoa, way shooter open. Mitchell, that's a deep 2 defensive end. And they lost Hamby. Here as a pro comes in your 10th season, averaging 18 points per game. That's
we talked about her 3-on-3 experience. A remarkable run by them.
Mitchell hoists and had it.
Her 10th assist.
Gets reinforcement. And for Hamby, right into Smith. Maybe got away with a move. Floats it up. Get Erica Hamby, you're not battling like this.
And Erica sees
on the drive. Smith lays it in. Getting going here in the fourth quarter. Sims is on the floor right now. Albert Clark lets it fly. Their direction. I think Clark and Mitchell 11 assists and 12 rebounds
to close out games, right? And they
behind her here is Stevenson firing. He thought about the 3 and traveled. Her way in, backing in on Steve. Get called for that.
I mean, look at that. That's a really good ATO by Indiana.
Of the season, and that tops. And a big Burrell cut off there by Boston. Inside for him. Nurse drives inside. Sims picks her pockets, and Sims
picked right here. The quick hands of
has the ball under 2 minutes to go, trying to Fieldhouse. Fever will take it herself on the drive.
Their tendency for the Fever is Kelsey.
Here's a Boston 3. Nurse is left open. She can't. Boston, Mitchell.
Like I said earlier.
Break. Have we called her name?
17 for 25. So did Indiana. The foul here. I like the strategy. Play D.
3 drives her way inside. Muscles. Well, once again,
It's taking too long, I think.
and all deservedly so. Not surprising. And
Kelsey Mitchell's going.
they're 18 and 16. Sole false start on the inbound, I think.
False.
It is so. Just kind of had my mind on the gridiron.
Penalty on the officials.
Taking better care of the ball here in the second half. Driving on Clark, feeds it back for Hamby. Hamby with a crossover, driving into Smith, leads 9 points, 7 assists here so far. Clark crossing over, and drop with a steal. Clark off to the races, Sims giving chase. Shoot. A little 5-0 burst from Caitlin Clark as Jackson throws up a wild. Clark off the screen, bounces for Boston. Rebounds. Here is Hamby on the other end, spin.
To look like you're not winning. Is it somebody back? You were
Line.
Caitlin Clark on the same side. Look at Boston against New York.
The Olympics
19,
last year.
12 and 13.
Too high for Egypt. Good hands there by Hamby. On Egypt. Putting on the moves. He's such a master tactician. It's always a chess match.
I think it's the rhythm of the game. Sometimes it's a timeout or a substitution. So can't play the same all the time.
Sims to switch on to Boston, driving on Boston.
So they're very much a downhill, gets you in isolation. Look to average 17 points on a hardship in Dallas.
The Sparks. Clark being watched by Nurse. Clark on the drive. Clark hangs and banks it.
Really can't stop her.
Jackson turning on. Trying to establish lead. Shot clock down to 5. Sims gonna have to hoist from way outside. Mitchell, Aaliyah, Boston, each sitting on 16 points here so far tonight. As Mitchell to switch on to Lee. Here is Clark launching.
Snakes behind it, and she creates this mismatch for Azurá Stevens. It's a really, when there's that much space to snake behind, you put a lot of.
Mitchell putting on the moves. Mitchell on the drive, drops it for Smith. Still shooting over 50% from the floor. Haven't been able to shake the Sparks. Inside for Jackson, poked away by Mitchell. Wheeler giving chase. Jackson. Now it's Wheeler turning on the Jets. Wheeler going coast to coast. In her prime. That's it right there.
Yeah.
And Chicago. Kind of a matchup-based decision for Christie Sides. Clark on the drive, behind the back to Boston. Extra pass. It's giving up good looks for great looks. Indiana back up 5 and 8
Triples.
Clark trying to answer. You bet of it, but we are starting to break out of that here as Sims on the drive.
Triple of the season.
Tonight is almost what you expect from her.
Caitlin off that Iverson action. That's an action they like to run for Kelsey Mitchell.
Nurse weaving her way inside and is
Be there in the last couple of possessions. Try to force some slippage and confident level to finish off the season.
Boston back for Clark. Clark's hit 3 of them. With the feet. Sims whips it over to Burrell, who's open. Does get it to her. Clark back for Samuelson and the feet. Indiana, a lot of work to do here to try to nail down their 8.
A post up trying to defend Aaliyah Boston, who's really battling in there for position.
Wheeler getting some extra minutes here today.
Has been better in their court action.
Dantas fading, firing. Weaver haven't gotten a good look.
Oh, that scissor action's tough to guard. What a take by
Split the double. Clark driving on Burrell, hangs and can't.
Uru is being guarded by Mitchell and Clark.
And Sparks have just not gone away. They've had a sink at times. Boston spinning inside.
Such a good two-man game. Nobody in the league runs.
Clark lobbing inside. Oh, difficult pass.
McDonald rotates over. Just good awareness of where she.
Out of the Olympic break, 18 points, 12 rebounds. It's her 12th double-double.
Diminish the value that Aaliyah Boston brings and her ability to run the floor, play well out of that high post area.
Beaver hit with a moving screen in the backcourt. A little frustration there from Clark.
Has been good in the first 10 seconds of the shot because she can get a bucket on anybody.
Clark, step back, hits a. Here comes Clark going the other way. Clark going behind the back. Oh, it's. Which ties Brianna Stewart for the most ever of her recent games.
And let me correct myself. It's
with a shot clock down to 2. Nurse, will she get it off in time? Just does.
stop it. It's because she's so good at creating separation to get into the way she creates separation.
Mitchell pulling up. Hamby rolling, runs into hole shot.
Lexi Hall does not need. We've seen that since the Olympic break. She's been fantastic.
Omaha, you will be able to find it streaming free on the CBS Sports app. Or turnover. Here comes Sims with a 3-on-2. Sims taking it right up the middle and connect on that 3. Smith with the rebound. Oh, pretty spin.
Indiana.
Christie Sides really need of her. Burrell catch and shoot. Whoa, wait.
Indiana overhelps and leaves the three-point shooter open.
Mitchell, that's a deep 2. Weaver Needham stops on the defensive end, and they lost Hamby. Not often your best year as a pro comes in your 10th season. 30-year-old De'Erica Hamby, averaging 18 points per game. That's a...
Hamby talked about her 3-on-3 experience, ended up getting in the medal round. It was really a remarkable run by them.
Possession there for Indiana. Shot clock down to 3. Mitchell hoists and had it.
Caitlin's looking for her 10th assist.
Gets reinforcement.
Getting the ball to the right place.
And 22 points. Burrell bouncing here for Hamby. Right into Smith. Maybe got away with Hamby attacking Boston. Spin move. Floats it up. Yep. Maybe if you don't have a De'Erica Hamby, you're not battling like this.
Here. And De'Erica sees
Clark, Boston. Here is Smith on the drive. Smith lays it in. Smith getting going here in the fourth quarter. Sims, young group here. Now, a lot of veterans on the floor right now. Clark, the switch on to Talbot. Clark lets it fly. Could have gone, Kelsey, thank you, either direction. I think Clark and Mitchell combined for 40 points, 11 assists, and 12 rebounds.
Indiana has relied on their defense to close out games, right? And they
on a 3. Talbot tipped it behind her. Here is Stevenson firing when they needed it. Talbot back up top. Hamby thought about the 3 and traveled. Had Mitchell there for a moment and said she'll back her way in. Backing in on Steve earlier in the play. Didn't get called for that.
I mean, look at the... That's a really good ATO by Indiana.
Boston with their 12th double-double of the season, and that tops. And a bit. Burrell cut off there by Boston. Inside for LA. Nurse drives inside, shy, but that time turns it over. Sims picks her pockets, and Sims.
Clark gets picked right here, the quick hands of...
What a major swing here as Indiana has the ball under 2 minutes to go, trying to keep remaining here from Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Fever. Mitchell will take it herself on the drive.
Line out of bounds. Their tendency for the Fever is Kelsey.
Mitchell whips it back. Here's a Boston 3. Cross court, Nurse is left open. She can't. Mitchell, shot clock down to 5, doesn't like it. Boston, Mitchell.
Outstanding. Like I said earlier.
Well, how often here out of the Olympic break have we called her name? Shot.
I mean, she's been 17 for 25. We're the only 2 teams, Minnesota and Indiana. Kurt Miller electing not to foul here. I like the strategy. Play deep.
Boston, shot clock down to 3. Drives her way inside. Muscles to
Aaliyah Boston.
Well, once again.
This play's taking too long, I think.
For Caitlin Clark, and all deservedly so. WNBA. Not surprising. That means
Kelsey Mitchell's going. Reaction by Kelsey.
they're 18 and 16, sole